Hello, everyone. Weird times, weird times. Okay, so let's try to return to some form of normalcy. This is the second time I'm doing this. The first time I forgot to turn on display record, and it was just a picture of me in front of a blank screen. So that's how my day's going. Cool. Don't judge me for using Microsoft Edge here. It's so that I can use my fancy pen to write on the screen and do stuff like this. So I can't do that with Chrome because reasons. Cool. So today and tomorrow, we're going to be continuing lesson 5.5, building an app, the Clicker Game version 3. Date was wrong. I'm recording this the day before. So the aim, like before, was how can we use global variables and if statements to create a clicker game. Remember, global variables, long time ago. Look back in your notes if you need to. No shame in that. But that's when you set up at the very beginning something like var score, maybe equals 0, var lives equals 3, maybe something like that. And then only after that do you have the rest of the code. So global variables means it's at the very top of the code and everything else doesn't matter. And then if statements, that's the newest thing we just started talking about before the plague hit us. But that's the blue block of text that goes like if, score equals 20, then set it to the windscreen, something like that. Remember we talked about the weirdness of having those two equal signs to make it different from this kind of equal sign. Look at this pen. Isn't this fun? I'm having fun. Okay. No, I'm not. I miss you all terribly. Agenda. So you'll notice there's no homework listed here because homework doesn't make sense in this brave new world we live in. So the agenda instead, I'm going to introduce course changes, talk about the new routine, review a little bit this classwork assignment that we started. We had one day in class to work on so far. And then we'll sort of summarize, and also I'll give you that question to answer on Google Classroom for today's classwork participation, whatever you want to call it, some form of assessment, just seeing that you're watching the videos. Okay, so course changes, grading policy. This is true all across the math department, not just me. But the grading policy used to be, we had just changed it to classwork was 15, was originally 10. Homework is 15. Projects used to be 10. And then assessments, part of my handwriting, were the last 65%. That's how it used to be. So assessments used to be by far the biggest. We've now changed this a little bit for a variety of reasons, but now your classwork is the majority of it. There's no longer homework problems, though effectively there are still, because I'll still be assigning the same amount of homework questions. They'll just be put into this category instead. There'll be the daily Google Classroom questions and any other smaller homework thing. There wasn't anything for today. The longer tasks like the Clicker Game version 2 that we did and the Clicker Game version 3 that we're doing now, and the unit projects. So the under the sea scene, for example, the end of unit kind of things. We will have more of those. We will still have quizzes and tests. They'll just be done via Google Classroom. They'll still be multiple choice. Quizzes could be multiple choice and or short answer. But that's the same. They're just worth less than they were before. Cool. Now the big one. Changes in the Sorry, every time I close that. Changes in the AP score. This is huge. For this class, there is no longer an AP exam. If you're in something like US history, it's going to be a shortened test. I'll let Miss Marinos handle that. Every class is different, so don't assume that there's no AP class for your other classes if you're in a different one. But for this class, because we have these projects, the Explore and the Create, their College Board has said that is going to be your entire AP score, which is probably a good thing for us. But I'll let that's probably case by case. So the vast majority of us are done with the Explore task. I'll reach out individually to work with those who are not for whatever reason. And the Create task is upcoming once you do a little bit more programming. Originally, we were going to start it right around break time. That's been pushed back a little bit. However, this is also due later. It used to be, originally, this was the whole portfolio, both these things, even if this is done, used to be due on April 30th. No longer. Now it's due something around May 30th-ish, the end of May. So we have an entire extra month to do this. This is pretty amazing news for us. And I think ultimately it's a good thing. It means that eventually we're probably going to return to the Explore task, at least just to review it, because it is that much more important. New daily routine. If you did this, if you're currently watching this video, congrats, you're doing the right thing. Every day I'm going to post the video by 7:30. It doesn't mean I recorded it at 6. I'm recording this the night before. You will answer the question that I pose later in the video or sometime in the video. This is to make sure that you're watching it. Though, of course, give me your feedback. Like, comment, subscribe. No, but seriously, tell me how this... I'll try to cut my banter and jokes to the office hours and try to keep this video around 10 to 15 minutes if I can, or less. There'll be an icon of this little question mark that will indicate what the question is and where you're supposed to answer it. I'll also just tell you, but in case you have it on mute or whatever. Or you're playing Pokemon Showdown. Complete any assigned classwork. That's going to be after we go through the basic routine of stuff. And then finally, there'll be office hours during our normal class time. Though period 1 can go with period 8 and period 8 can go to period 1's office hours. I don't really care. It's up to you. I'll post the times at the very end. Okay, so the meat and potatoes for today. Where we left off. So we were making something that looked like this. The actual game you do in lesson 5, number 21. And in number 2, recall this is the game that we're trying to make something like. So it has an opening screen, nice little labels. I'm not there to yell at you in person, so I'll have to digitally yell at you. Labels, not text input, not text area, labels. I can't click on that. That's there. So you're trying to make a clicker game. We have the basics set up already. Most of this stuff should be green for you. Some of these might be white because you kind of skipped around a little bit, but these show you how to do if statements, and this shows you how to do like variables and global variables and things like that. Cool. So the game would start. You have a start button. You click on this, and importantly, this is new. The score goes up. Eventually, if you get to 20, you would win. I don't want to do that. I'm not here to play games. You click on the background. Lives is going down. You get to 0. I forgot that It plays that sound. Very good. And there's a button to try again. That's important. You get back to the beginning, and notice I haven't stopped, but the score also reset to normal values. That's kind of tricky. Okay, so I've posted already, and ooh, look at that. Many of you have seen it already. But I gave you this sheet before. Did I just leave a comment? No, I'm not trying to comment here. I gave you the sheet before, at least the back, but I added a rubric now to make it a little bit easier. So what why can't I, hello? Okay, so look at some of this stuff based on what we talked about. To get a perfect score, it's impossible to get stuck on one screen. You can't get stuck on the lost screen. You need both those two variables, score and lives. You need two different if statements to see if you win or lose. And then at least two variables get updated with the correct value. So all those different things. This correct value, that also means resetting back to 0 or resetting back to 3 lives when you start over. And then the game should make sense. Nothing extra. Just kind of a freebie point if you put some effort into it. But if it's basically just a white screen, you don't get this point. Cool. So that's that. We're basically at the end here. This has probably gone on far too long. So the question for today, what you should answer in Google Classroom. So in Google Classroom, I've changed this around a little bit because there's going to be way more posts. I'm doing things by ideas instead of by units. Ideas are basically weekly breakdowns. We're almost done with the variables idea. This is a draft because I don't want to post it yet, but you'll see something that looks like this. You'll see, it'll say Monday, 3/22. You probably already found it because I think this is where I'm going to post the video. But there'll be a option for a short response for today. Maybe someday it'll be multiple choice. I don't know. And then you answer the question there. So for us, you answer how far along are you in the clicker game? Could be almost done, could be barely started, could be whatever. But I want to see where you're at. Cool. That's that. So let me do some fancy stuff. Check this out. This is where I'm recording it. Whoa, it's in OBS Studio. Whoa, look at this. It's lagging my computer. But I'm going to change it to, whoa, look at that. So yeah, I'm doing this on my laptop. Eventually I'm going to do this on my gaming computer when I buy a webcam to become basically a YouTuber, which is apparently what teachers are now. But check this out. This is fancier. Show me a fancier teacher. Office hours for us, 8:15 to 9 and 1:30 to 2:25. You can go to either of them. If you actually want me to answer a question, I feel like this is going to be the lighter one. But welcome to college, kids. Don't worry about intro. I'm just going to use the same end card for both people. I miss you all so much. I'm going to end it now. Please, it sounds so stupid saying this, but do comment if you want me to do this a different way. This is a private video only for these classes. Brave new world we live in. See you all in office hours. Bye-bye.